Today's video is brought to us by the generosity of Firearms Legal Protection. Firearms Legal Protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners. You win the fight, and they will help you win the fight after the fight for the rest of your life. There's a link in the description for a coupon code for a discount for all active self-protection watchers. Mark is always really glad that you're willing to come and help us, man. We watched this one off camera that you got to go watch too. Road rage is stupid. On so many levels.
This thing's like a lesson in everything you shouldn't do.
Right.
Right? I mean, for starters, this road rage thing, we gotta pause and talk about this for a second,
Yep.
right? To me, this is connected to the problems that we have with social media. What am I talking about? Something about a substantial group of people, when you think you're anonymous, you have a license to act like a jerk. We should stop doing this, right? We should recognize that the person in the car, the person on the other end of the internet there, is a person.
Right.
And, you know, the road rage thing, okay, look, I'm a fast driver. People
drive
get
a
upset.
very fast car.
Yes, I like to drive fast. And sometimes you get upset with the slow driver, especially when they're in the fast lane, right? We all know we all share these problems.
I'm shooting into my foxhole here.
You got to keep in mind, this is another human being driving that car. And that person's just driving a little slower. We're all on the planet for a short time. Let's just respect each other and don't act like a jerk. And you got to be able to press pause, right, before you get excited. This guy in this video, could you imagine to get so upset to actually pull over and get out of the car and confront the other person? What do you think you're going to gain? You are put yourself in a position where you got absolutely nothing to gain and literally everything to lose. Why would you ever want a situation like that?
You know, you get that ego again, right? You get that punishment. What you did was offensive to me, and you did it to offend me. You did it because, and this is personal.
Right.
But it's not personal. I mean, listen, I don't know you. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like you, I drive a fast car and I like to drive fast, but you got to recognize at the end of the day, you know, if that was my mom driving that car, would I be angry? Probably not. You know, I might be annoyed.
My mother said to me a long time ago, imagine that's Nana driving that car up there. And, you know, someone else's Nana driving that car up there. But, you know, to the old adage, and I'll sort of modify it for this case, to bring a pipe to what could have been a gunfight is not a smart idea either.
You don't know what that guy's got on him.
How do you know anything about this guy? You're going to get out with a pipe, and you're assuming that this is going to be a sufficient self-defense weapon. You might get out with a pipe, and this guy says, you know what? I got out to talk to this guy. He came out with a pipe, and I shot him and killed him. And you may very well be justified on something like that.
So you come out and you go, man, I'm going to show that guy a lesson or two. Pick up a pipe, which I talked about this in the narrated video. It's stupid because the guy's got a helmet and gear on. Pipe's not going to hurt him. But now he might be able to reasonably say, hey, that guy was a threat to my person
Absolutely.
with a weapon.
That seems like an obvious point to me.
Yeah.
Right? I can see the guy on the motorcycle saying, well, we had some dispute. We wanted to talk about it. Who knows? I was going to confront him. But the guy gets out with a pipe, and he's coming towards me with a pipe. I was worried he was going to hit me and severely injure me. And I think under those circumstances, if this guy had shot the guy with the pipe, probably it's a good shoot.
Well, and correct me, you're the attorney, but that guy comes out, brandishes a pipe over a road rage thing. That looks like aggravated assault to me.
Looks like, yeah, absolutely. Just threatening someone with the pipe. So now, of course, he's going to say, I had the pipe for self-defense because I didn't know what this guy was going to do. How stupid when you could just keep driving down the road.
Yeah, see?
And then you're going to come to the fight with a pipe. And of course, you've got no training, no experience because you let this smaller guy take the pipe right away from you, which is unbelievable to me. And then he starts whacking him with the pipe, and the guy stands there and continually gets whacked. I mean, this is an example of doing everything wrong from what I can see.
And I think, okay, as a guy who's ridden a motorcycle for a lot of years, I get it. You know, when you're in a cage, when you're in a car and somebody, you know, threatens you, comes into your lane, well, that's a threat to your car. When you're on a motorcycle, it's a threat to your life. And it can make you angry. I get that. But then he takes the pipe away from the guy and, you know, give me that. Well, I might be able to really justify that because I'm saying I want to end this threat. But then he starts wailing on the guy with him and threatens him with the head. So he becomes the bad guy there.
The whole thing, when you say to yourself, what's the takeaway from this? To me, the takeaway is don't be stupid. You need to avoid one mistake like this could cost you your life. This guy could have been crippled. Who knows? Maybe he is. He kept getting hit in the legs. I bet you get hit in the legs repeatedly with that pipe. That's probably something that affects you going down the road. Why would you do this when you could avoid the whole situation? Again, it's not the kind of temperament that I would want somebody who's carrying a firearm to have, right?
Amen. And again, if I'm facing aggravated assault charges, which probably both of them probably here in the U.S. would be looking at aggravated assault charges.
Well, no. Once the guy takes the guy with the motorcycle takes the pipe, and now he's starting to hit this guy in the leg. That's clearly aggravated assault to me. There's no question about that. But that doesn't mean that before that happened,
right,
the bigger guy with the pipe could also be charged legitimately with aggravated assault. They could both be charged.
And now they're going to get a first-person tour through the justice system.
Isn't that terrible? Even if you win, you wind up losing, because we know how much people actually want to spend on lawyers, right? It's zero.
$0.
That's how much we want to spend on lawyers, and I get that. That's how much both of these guys could have spent as a result of this incident had they just acted a little bit smarter. But now both of them are going to need lawyers, and who knows what the charges will be and how long it will go on. And there's also a time and an aggravation cost. You got to factor that in too. When you get hit with a felony prosecution and it goes on for like a year, which a lot of them do, that's the first thing you think about in the morning when you open your eyes, and the last thing you think about at night when you're getting ready to go to bed, and you think about it all day long. Why put yourself in that situation? I mean, we keep preaching. I hope we're preaching to the choir.
I hope so.
Right, because the people who are watching your analysis, which again is very conservative and stellar, I think, in terms of critiques of these cases, you give very conservative advice. That's the way it ought to be. So I think we're preaching to the choir on these people. And look, you got to carry, because a lot of people who are out in the world are crazy and they do crazy things. That's what these videos show. But just because you're carrying a firearm isn't a good time to be beating your chest. If you're carrying a firearm, you should be carrying it with the attitude, I hope I never have to pull it out. I'm going to be really conservative about it. And it ought to be super boring. If you think, as you're putting your firearm into your holster and you're getting ready to go out for the day, you should be thinking, this is probably going to be boring. I hope I don't have to pull it out.
I want to have a boring day.
Right.
May I get through today and not need this?
It's the guys who are excited about pulling. Is this the time I should pull it out, or can I pull it out now and show everybody? Those are the guys that do themselves a lot better service if they just said, you know what? I don't have the right temperament to be carrying the firearm. Maybe I should just put this away or not carry it or something.
Change my attitude where I say, look, I got to check my ego. I got to check this thing that says I need status here. And I need status with a stranger.
Right. Isn't that terrible?
Who wronged me. And I don't care if that guy wronged you by bumping into you at the bar or by cutting you off in traffic or whatever. I don't know who you are.
I can tell you this. I've done many of these types of cases. And I can tell you what these prosecutors don't really care about. They're not interested in what the actual road rage situation was. Someone's going to say, oh, he cut me off, or he was trying to run me off the road, or he did this or that, or almost caused an accident, was driving like a jerk. They don't care.
Don't care.
If you're in your car, call the police if there's a big problem. And, to pull your firearm out while you're in your vehicle or on your motorcycle, I've had that happen several times. I can tell you, prosecutors are very unsympathetic to the person who says, well, this guy was driving crazy, so I showed him my firearm to tell him not to drive crazy. That doesn't fly.
Nope.
I tell people all the time, if you're in your vehicle and you whip out your firearm to show people you got a gun, you should expect you're going to be charged with a very serious felony offense.
It's brandishing,
You should expect, and if you think you're going to say, well, the guy with the car was scaring me or doing this or that, and that's going to convince a prosecutor, I'm going to tell you 99 out of 100 times, that's going to fall on deaf ears.
100%. And it's going to cost you thousands of dollars, a first-person tour through the justice system, and potentially a long time in prison.
Just don't do it.
Check your ego. Gosh, please listen, guys. I tell you this stuff, but hopefully when the guy who you would have to pay hundreds of dollars an hour to sit on the other side of his desk, who would help you with the tour, tells you don't do it so that you don't end up in his office, that you listen, please. Mark, thank you.